Hey there everybody, it's me Normal Corey, back again, making another video with my MPC Live 3. And today, I just wanted to go over some technical difficulties I've been having with this device. I love my MPC Live 3, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've been in contact with the Akai customer support, and that's actually been really helpful. Let's talk about my issues, then let's go through and let's talk about what the tech asked me, and I can go through his email and go through some troubleshooting issues and show him exactly where I'm at. Whenever all of these issues have happened ever since I updated to 3.7, and maybe I didn't notice them, but the first thing that I noticed is that my XLR inputs were not working properly. So the line in inputs are working, but the XLR aren't working. So we're gonna go through that in a second. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was that I had my MPC Live 3 screen not work. And I had some people in the Reddit mention when they had that there was an issue with the SD card in this newer device. So I took the SD card out. I have an SSD card in there, and that didn't seem to fix it. But whenever the SSD card is in the bottom and the back of the device, when I took the SSD card, unplugged it, put it back in, that seemed to fix the issue. I also, whenever I put the SSD card in, I was a little bit nervous because it was a little bit tighter than the MPC Live 2 with the SSD card. So I ended up, it wasn't screwed in to the back of the panel in the way that it should have been. And part of me wonders if that's why the screen was freezing up, because the SSD card was free in the device. But taking the SSD card out, putting it back in, seemed to fix that issue. So if you're someone and your touchscreen isn't working, hopefully that helps you, and hopefully that's an issue I don't have again, and hopefully that was the true cause of it. So now when we talk about the XLR inputs, and we'll see exactly what happens when we test each thing. I also wanted to say the Akai repair person told me to take it out of standalone mode and put it in controller mode. And when I last emailed him, I thought that had fixed the issue, but it turns out that was actually the input of the actual MacBook Pro. So maybe this is a hardware issue with the actual XLR inputs. I'm hoping not, because that would require me sending in the device. But yeah, let's just go through it and let's talk about the issue. What I did is I tried it in controller mode. That didn't fix the issue. I downgraded to 3.6 because this has all happened when I upgraded to 3.7. So that should have fixed the firmware. But even when I was in 3.6, this XLR issue was still happening. So let's go through it and let's talk about it, because the tech from MPC was asking about the specific microphones that I was using. So right now for this video, I'm using my DJI lav mics, but let's go through these mics and let's just test out this behavior and see exactly what happens. We have the AKG C1000S. This is my tried and true device. Been using this for a long time. I really love it. It is on. All of these cables, I've replaced them in and out with different cables as well to make sure it's not a cable issue. I've also tried all of my microphones. I have a little Focusrite interface that I've been using for my iPhone and to use on this device when I'm having this issue. So I'm gonna change this out. I'm gonna turn this to audio. So I have it in input 1, and let's go ahead and here and let's set it to input 1. The arm record is on. Let's turn that off. So see, now it's working for a second. Now let's turn it down for a moment. And I wish it would work forever, but it seems to work for a second and then it stops working. If this just kept working, I would be so we're getting that fuzz. We're getting some fuzz. Test, 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 test. So the fuzz is still going and I can still hear the input. Test, 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 test. It's getting quieter and quieter. See, now it just disappeared. So now there's nothing coming in the microphone. Let's turn the XLR pad on. Test, test, test. See, something weird happened there. And this is on input 1. Now when we go to input 2 with this microphone, let's do test, test, test combo here. We'll turn this to none. Go back to the main, turn this to input 2. Input 2 just seems to never get anything. We'll turn the pad on, test, test, test. Get the similar fuzz, test, 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 test. Phantom power on and off, XLR pad off. Trying all the different gain staging and everything. It's not working. Let's go test, test. Okay, so now this is working too. This is strange because I've actually not had this happen. Okay, so you see that went away. Test, test, test. So it seems to work for a moment, so some connection doesn't seem to be happening. So let's test out the internal mic. We're gonna turn it to combo. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. And say link. Test, test, test. So we see there, This internal microphone is working fine, which is great. I can use that for little sketches and stuff. Let's turn it back to combo, and let's go ahead, change this to 1, and let's go back to input 1 really quickly. So we're gonna unplug this microphone. I'm gonna show you my other microphone. This is my favorite one that I've been using recently because as a DJ, I have my hands free. This is a Shure headset microphone. So let's go ahead and turn this on. Hopefully I can make it through this whole video. See if we can see it. Okay, test, test, test. So here we have this mic plugged in, and as you can see, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. So let's turn the XLR pad on and off. What I notice is if it's worked once, it's not gonna work again, at least in the same project. So let's go here, let's say new project, don't save, and let's see if in this new project it works for a second. Just to chart the actual behavior and go through. I'm trying to make this video short. I don't want this tech to watch this YouTube video for too long, or any of you out there on YouTube. So let's change this to an audio track. Let's turn this to auto. Let's change the input to input 1, because we're in input 1. Let's go to input, turn the phantom on, turn it off. We're gonna do, you can hear a little clicking. There's some connections trying to be made. I'm just trying everything I can. And this microphone, test, test, test. See, it's working for a second. It's on the XLR pad, but it's really quiet. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. And it's really fuzzy. Test, test, test. And that was just for a moment. Test, test. See, now it's just fuzzy. Turn that off. So now let's go to combo, turn this one off, go here, go to input 2, and let's try it. Test, 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 test. It's a combo, test, test, test. So it says TRS. Oh yeah, because we wanted to be on 2. So none here. Test, 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 test. Test. It's just really fuzzy. Just a really fuzzy, loud noise. Sounds terrible. Test, test, test. Okay. So this mic not working either. So let's take this off, and I'll show you. See, some sort of popping happened when I took it out. Try 200, and you see the input. This is just a classic line input. So in my experience, the line input has worked. So I actually haven't tested this mic. I've tried like other drum machines and things like that. So now let's plug it into the XLR input, which has a line input in the middle of it. Let's turn this off. Test, test, test. See, now the input is working fine. Turn the phantom off, and that's fine, because this isn't phantom power. It's working great. So this is cool. I can use this mic if I want to. So yeah, let's go back into the input. Test, 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 testing. Testing, test. Test, test, test. So that's working great. So yeah, that's been my issue right there. Let's plug it into input 2, say combo, put none. Test, 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 turn this up, test, test, test. As far as the gain staging and everything, I hope this, oh yeah, let's go here back to input 1, because that's what we had it on. Test, 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 testing. Plug it into input 1. Test, 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 testing. Okay, here we go, here we go. So I hope that answers all of the text questions. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this input down, and it shows you exactly the behavior that I'm getting with my MPC Live 3. Now, I did purchase this device specifically for the XLR inputs and to have an all-in-one box to be able to make music on the go. Now this thing is a little bit, you know, it's about 8 pounds, and it's hard because I ride my bicycle everywhere, and you know, they just came out with that MPC Live sample, and that's really small. There's a lot of features of that look really nice to me. Just a reminder, most of the people that have those devices, they were given, you know, Akai sent them those devices. So just be careful with your money. I spent a lot of money on this MPC Live 3 and a lot of care. So I'm gonna keep talking to these techs, trying to figure this issue out. If it's a software issue, I have to send it in. It looks like the closest repair shop is up in Vancouver. And if I can't have this thing for a couple of weeks, a week, a month, however long it is, before I go out and buy the MPC sample, a big shout out to my coworker that said, hey, don't be embarrassed of your issue with MPC Live 3. Make a video about that today and talk about your experience. So hopefully I can send this to the tech. I can cut out the exact portions where they wanted to see the behavior. Yeah, just talk about my experience. If I have to send this device in because it's a hardware issue, I'm going to make a lot of videos about making music on my iPhone, just with a little Focusrite interface. I love teaching these things. Thank you so much to everyone, all of the students that have taken classes with me on the MPC Live 3, really inspiring. And I'll use the Focusrite to plug into here. Or, you know what, now that I have this line-in mic, I might just, you know, do it with a little line-in mic and bring that with me. So thank you so much for your support, and more videos headed your way soon.